Now, we were just talking to Jeremy in Wall Street, and not far from where he was, Occupy Wall Street continues. And now the movement appears to be gaining steam. It's getting support from a number of unions. The New York transit workers voted to support Occupy Wall Street and are supposed to be joining the protests right now as we speak. We'll have more on that later. We do have a reporter there. And the Teamsters Union declared support too. The United Pilots Union reportedly had members protesting in uniform. So this is a development. This could get interesting because remember, unions are a large part of the reason why we see so many people turn out to protests in Europe, for example. But now from our New York studio, we have someone who has been occupying Wall Street herself, protester Julie Lawler. Thank you for being on the show. So first, I just want your take on why you're taking part in these protests.
Well, I feel like the mainstream Americans haven't had their voice heard, and I think that most people can agree that we have a reason to be angry, and we haven't really had a way to express that anger. Typical platforms for having our voice heard aren't really working anymore because Wall Street has so much power.
What are those
politicians?
What are those typical platforms you're referring to?
Well, such as voting.
So you don't think your vote counts?
No. Well, I mean, you know, it's even Obama gets most of his money from Wall Street. That's where all the money is, and that's where most politicians get their money from. So even though some of them may have good ideas about how to fix our economy, they're still getting, you know, blocked. So in some ways, it's just...
Okay, so you're saying you're angry over Wall Street's power versus your power. You have another reason you could possibly be angry. You're one of the people who was pepper sprayed at the protests over the weekend, and it was caught on video. If we can play a little bit about that so people can see it. Our viewers are watching it right now. And you can't tell exactly what's going on, but it didn't look like you ladies were posing any threat. Maybe you could just describe a little bit about why you were pepper sprayed there.
No, we weren't doing anything to provoke the police, and we certainly did not deserve it. The police started deploying these orange netting fences to try to block streets off and to, I think, separate us, to, you know, and everyone felt trapped. They didn't know where to go. It was very chaotic and confusing. There was a lot of police brutality going on. I watched a man with a camera get his face bashed into the fender of a car. I watched another police officer beside me grab this lady and drag her by the hair underneath the fence, and everyone was screaming, and it was just totally chaotic. And
so how did they pepper spray you?
I don't know. I didn't see it coming. I didn't even know that any of them had pepper spray on them. It didn't seem like a situation to use pepper spray. We were behind the fence and we were staying there. Everyone was confused as to why there was a fence around us in the first place, but because we were on the sidewalk and we were on a public sidewalk, and it was just difficult to watch your fellow friends and be treated by the police in such a brutal way.
Right.
And
now I want to play a little bit for you of how, because Fox News did a debate on this earlier this week, and I want to play you what Megyn Kelly said about the reaction of you and your friends to being pepper sprayed, and then I want to get your reaction to it.
I don't know, and I see these women screaming, it's like they've been shot in the face. Now listen, I've never been pepper sprayed in the face, but I mean, is there going to be an argument that they're being overly dramatic, that they're playing it up for the cameras?
So Megyn Kelly there was essentially alleging that you guys were playing it up for the cameras. Do you have a reaction to that? Do you want to defend yourself?
Oh, I felt the two girls that were on the floor screaming got the pepper spray 6 inches, I mean, right in their faces. I was behind them. I got a direct stream of it right in my eye, and also on my skin on my face and the skin on my arms. It burns, it hurts. It feels like you've been slapped in the face with a hot iron. It is not pleasant, and it gets in your lungs, and it makes you choke, and no, it was a very scary, frightening experience, and it hurt. I believe that there are a lot of pictures, too, of afterwards. My skin was really red. My eyes were swollen. My fiance also got hit with the pepper spray in the second incident that happened.
So are you saying? So are you saying that the reaction in that video was completely authentic?
Oh, it was completely authentic. I mean, they immediately started screaming. I mean, I couldn't imagine getting it right in the face. They got a lot more than I did. And it's still painful, very painful.
Right, and now we're almost out of time, but I just want to get your comment. New York Mayor Michael Bloomberg today on the radio said that New Yorkers need to help the banks and that protesters are protesting against people who make 40 to 50 grand a year and are struggling to make ends meet. I guess he's talking about service workers in Wall Street. What do you say to that?
I'm sorry, could you repeat the question?
We're almost out of time, but Mayor Bloomberg is saying that the protesters need to actually support the banks and that the people you're protesting make 40 to 50 grand a year and are just struggling to make ends meet. What do you say to that?
That we should help the banks? That's crazy. The banks took all the middle-class money. No, we don't need to help the banks. The banks are fine.
All right.
Let them fail.
There you go. Final words from you. Let the banks fail. Thank you so much for being on the show and from taking time out from the protest. That was Occupy Wall Street protester Julie Lawler.